Are you wary of the relentless pace of modern gaming? Do you find yourself pining for the simplicity and charm of the dusty games from days gone by? Are you ready to embark on an adventure filled with nostalgia and robots? Are you brave enough to delve into the archives of gaming history and uncover the timeless treasures that await? Because I am. Greetings, fellow retro gaming enthusiasts, and welcome to the dusty halls of the Dusty Game Society. While the allure of modern gaming may capture the attention of many, for whatever reason, we find solace in the simplicity and charm of bygone days. No hand-holding, no intrusive microtransactions, no game company drama, just pure, untainted gaming. The Dusty Game Society works hard to explore these dusty games. In the spirit of camaraderie, each month we uncover a new dusty relic for us to explore together. All month long we share our thoughts, assist one another, and revel in nostalgia. And each month it's my job to share the dusty game that we played with you. I'll tell you more about the DGS and how you can become a part of it at the end of the video, but for now, we have a game to play. This month our journey takes us back, way back to the summer of 1999 with Capcom's The Misadventures of Tron Bonne. So without further dilly-dallying, as my mother would say, let's dive in and rediscover the joys of retro gaming together. In 1997, a game was released that shook up a well-established franchise. Mega Man Legends was not a super hard action game like the 2D games that preceded it, but a fairly easy-breezy adventure game. There was a big emphasis on story, character interaction, puzzle solving, but why are we talking about Mega Man Legends when we should be talking about the Misadventures of Tron Bonne? Well, because the main villain in Mega Man Legends was Tron Bonne, this girl. And she's a colorful character. Lots of personality, fun dialogue. She's pretty cute. She's kind of one of those villains that you love, even though they're obviously the bad guy. And after the release of Mega Man Legends, Capcom released a game starring the villain from that first game. A sort of stopgap story type game between Mega Man Legends 1 and Mega Man Legends 2. It's a game that I loved on the PS1, and I also played it with my girlfriend at the time. She called Tron Bonne Miss Mood Swing, for obvious reasons. And I always regretted never finishing Tron Bonne because I really enjoyed what I played of it. The story goes like this. The Bonne family is a family of air pirates. Their base is a flying airship called the Gesellschaft. In the Misadventures of Tron Bonne, it's revealed that the oldest sibling, Teasel, took out a loan of 1 million zenny from a bad business guy named Lex Loth to fund the building of the Gesellschaft. So at the start of the game, Teasel is out piloting his robot called the Gustav to go explore some ruins, and he's waylaid by Loth's henchman Glide, who beats him up and captures him. So Tron Bonne, like the good sister that she is, vows to save up enough money to get Teasel back. And that's the game. Your job is to do quests and missions to save up enough money to free your brother. And I'm sure nothing will go wrong with that plan. As soon as you're given the reins to the game, you're immediately thrust into a management sim on the Gesellschaft because it's your job to keep the place running and manage the Servbots. Servbots are the cutest freaking little robots that you've ever seen. These guys are basically the minions of this game. They're just kind of little Lego-looking robots built by Tron Bonne to do her bidding, and each has its own distinct personality and talent. Most of the time it's pretty surface level, but there's a freaking ton of them, so it's neat to see that each one has a little something about them to offer the game or the story. Tron Bonne gets to boss them around and make them do stuff around the ship and bring them with her on missions to do stuff in the world, but more or less they're just kind of there to add flavor to the game. You can basically ignore them for the most part, except for talking with them in the rooms of the ship when you want to do stuff like train or buy upgrades for your robot. But if you want to play house between missions, there's a fairly deep management sim here, because you can chit-chat with each and every bot, and some of them have stuff that they need to unlock a skill, or some task that you need them to do. They have stats, you can do training activities to level them up. Some are good at fighting, some are good at puzzle solving. They have a laziness meter that you need to keep an eye on or they'll stop working. In the actual gameplay, you can get a few fairly minor bonuses from keeping up with your bots, but I'm going to say that this metagame part of the game is entirely optional. One of the DGS members went all out and leveled up each Servbot. He loved that aspect of the game, but others completely ignored it. It is definitely fun and charming in my opinion, so if you play Tron Bonne, definitely don't ignore the Servbots because there's some genuinely good stuff here. And you can torture them. If torturing innocent childlike robots is your thing, it's fine though because they don't have souls. I hope. The style of the art and the characters is one of the things that gives the game its fun-loving mood. It really has Saturday morning cartoon vibes to it. It's totally family-friendly, but there is some genuinely good jokes and interactions here that are a lot of fun, at least for man-babies like me. The characters have great designs to them. The whole thing feels like it belongs in the Mega Man universe, but it also still feels like its own thing because it's all focused around Tron Bonne and the Servbots and the robots that you control. As for the actual game, well, there is no one actual game here. There are missions that you go out on, but each one is almost a completely different genre of a game. For example, the first batch of activities that you get is divided into 4 distinct areas, and each activity has a series of missions. One area is a quarry, which is an RPG area. There's a story of these diggers digging for treasure, and in this one you pilot a flying drone and you're mostly there just to tell your Servbots where to go because they do all the talking and stuff. Another area is an action fighting area. The story here is that you're trying to rob a bank, but the Servbots keep messing up and dropping you off at the wrong place. You can loot buildings by commanding your Servbots to go into them, and then this police officer lady shows up and you have some banter with her, and it's sort of like a boss battle. She becomes a recurring character, and it's fun to see how that little side story evolves. And then another area is just an open area that you can go to at any time. It's the ancient ruins, and it's rumored that there's a valuable treasure there. And you can go back to this place and explore more of it and chip away at it throughout the game. And then another type of area is classified as a puzzle area. And this is actually my favorite type of mission in the game. Seriously, I could play an entire game just with this one gameplay style. The idea here is that you show up at these docks and you want to steal some crates of supplies, but your robot lifter thing doesn't have enough power to do whatever it wants. You only have a certain number of lifts, and when you lift a supply crate, you can only move it a certain number of spaces to get it to the ship. And there are heavy crates that you can lift and move aside, but you can't move them around the map. And there are wooden blocks that you can move an unlimited distance with, and these are usually used to make bridges between areas. And there's a special optional crate with extra valuable stuff in it, so if you want the best rewards, you'll need to try to get all of them. And as the game progresses, they add new elements like cranes and conveyor belts. It's a really, really fun puzzle game that they have here. I spent a ton of time playing these levels and making sure that I got the best possible score. But that's just me. You might not like the puzzle aspect, so you can kind of ignore it. And then at one point in the game, something happens and a whole new batch of different mission areas opens up. And you can kind of choose which ones that you want to spend your time doing. And that's the thing about this game, is there's no one way to play it. You just have the goal of saving up enough money to pay off the debt, and you can go about that in any way that you want. You can kind of take it slow and buy all the upgrades and explore every nook and cranny, or you can just focus on what makes you the most money and save up and fly through the game pretty quickly. It took me almost 12 hours to get through the entire game, although some dusty dweebs finished quicker than I did. And I felt like I went through fairly quickly. I didn't even do all the missions, and I didn't do that much with the Servbots themselves. It's an interesting formula for a game, to give us so many different types of games within the game. And I found it a nice refreshing take on a few different genres all combined together. I definitely recommend playing the Misadventures of Tron Bonne. All things considered, I'm going to give the game a score of 3.5 dusty dweebs out of 5. It's not the greatest game ever. It's kind of repetitive at times, and you really have to be into the vibe of the thing overall to enjoy it, but I found it fun as heck, and it's definitely worth checking out. And it's kind of a no-brainer for Mega Man fans. You get to see the story of one of the main villains of the Mega Man Legends series, and Tron Bonne is a fun character with a good story that's worth experiencing. Just don't spend too much time torturing your Servbots. That's probably not healthy. You know. And now, let's see what the other members of the Dusty Game Society had to say about this month's Dusty Game, shall we? Super Scat Man says, it was very charming, got a couple laughs from me throughout, definitely a bit clunky to control, but the art style and variety kept me engaged. Gave it a score of 7 out of 10. And I definitely agree about these difficulty spikes here. Nothing too crazy, but a few times I was thinking, wow, this is a cakewalk. And then like a few minutes later, I'm thinking, oh my god, I suck at games. Why can't I do this? Crispy7462 liked the dock puzzles. That was the best part of the game for him. And the rest of the game was good too. And he enjoyed it more than the Mega Man Legends game. Yeah, those dock puzzles were my favorite part too. There's lots of good parts, but the puzzle aspect was really challenging and satisfying to complete each level. Lady Astolat was enjoying it on her Ambler Nick. I started on the Miu Mini Plus and then I switched to the RG405V myself. Whoa, Nelly, Empty Vessel has a lot to say. And no, I'm not reading it all. Be offended if you want. Here's the short version. Surprised how much he enjoyed it. He liked the story, found it fun, loved the characters, went deep on the Servbots and base management stuff, and he thought that the Servbot stuff made the game feel more alive. And well done on maxing out all the Servbots. That's no small feat. Crystal gave up on the game and she found it too challenging, which is kind of confusing to me. I've seen you play Terraria and you've done some way harder stuff than what's in this game, but hey, not every game is going to click with everyone, I guess. AJP didn't click with the game at first, but found after switching to the RP2S it felt much better. Awesome art styles, fun characters, decent gameplay. 5 out of 7 root beers. Yeah, sometimes switching devices is all you really need to do. A game can not feel good on one, and suddenly it feels good on another. That's one of the benefits of having way too many retro handhelds. Gordo's Taco Shop found the game charming and humorous, but it didn't click with him. Well, that's fair. At least he gave it a go. Shady says it plays more like a collection of mini games, and I definitely agree with that. Didn't dig the Servbot management system, which is fair. I didn't love that side myself, although I did have some fun with it. And they enjoyed it because of the Saturday morning cartoon vibe. I couldn't agree more with that. And Servbot 10, best bot. I don't remember which one I chose as my best, but I do remember that I nicknamed him Fit. Alright, and with that out of the way, let's hand the show over to the fake English accent guy to wrap it up, I guess. And there you have it, my friends. The Misadventures of Tron Bonne. Not a revolutionary game by any means, but a dusty piece of gaming history nonetheless, and a fun game to play on your retro handheld of choice. On behalf of the Dusty Game Society, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. The DGS is comprised of members of the TechDweeb community who have earned a place at the Dusty table to play Dusty games. How did I pick these privileged few? Simple. They are my patrons. Membership in the DGS is a little bonus that I give to my supporters. Every month I post the game we'll play, and then we all play it. And we talk about it all month long, like a book club for retro games. And if you would like to become one of the proud few who have elected to support the important work that I do, and as a side bonus take part in the Dusty Game Society each and every month, there's a link down there in the description below. And at last we come to the end. Feel free to share your thoughts about this Dusty game with the rest of the not as dusty but still pretty dusty dweebs in the comments below, and I hope you'll join us next month, because it's gonna be a doozy. Maybe even 2 doozies, if you could believe that. Until then, stay dusty, my friends.